Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jacob Weisenberger. I'm a guitar performer and instructor. And today, we're going to talk about left-hand fingering strategies for the classical guitar. Let's get into it. One of the number one problems that I see young guitar players make when they are writing or making fingerings for the left hand is that they make them out of ease of access rather than making them with musical intention for the music. An example between ease of access fingerings and musical fingerings is such. Here is the melody of Ode to Joy. That was an ease of access fingering because I played it in first position and I only used fingers 1 and 3. But if I really wanted to make it musical, I could play something maybe like I had more musical intention with that, but I had to move my fingers around more. But if it sounds better, it's worth it in the end. Throughout this video, we will talk about all the different fingering techniques and strategies that are used so that you have access to all the tools that you need for a very musical left-hand fingering. Some simple left-hand fingering techniques include a stationary finger, a guide finger, and a replacement finger. An example of a stationary finger is exactly how it sounds. Your finger is going to stay where it is while some of your other fingers might move. In a single note line, I'll make up something on the spot. Let's say, let's take that little idea right there. My first finger is going to stay exactly where it is while my second finger comes up behind it and get that A. So, and it won't move until the A is plucked. If I moved it before the A is plucked, it would sound like this. It's gonna have that gap in between, but if I keep it down, the line is gonna stay continuous, like any other instrument would play it. Like so. An example of a guide finger is a finger in a passage that is gonna be on a string and that it will guide you to a new position of the string, or a new position on the same string. So for example, this melody of Barbara Allen, the opening lick would be, and I use that to shift up to the new position. So that's a guide finger. My 1 is a guide finger to the new position. And then guide finger, sorry. So on. In that same passage of Barbara Allen, I do in fact do a replacement finger technique, which is the last one we'll be talking about. So we have that guide finger of 1 for that first part of the phrase, and then the second phrase would need a replacement shift, which would be, and I need to go back, so I'm going to slide back and then replace my finger with 3 on the F sharp. So slide back, 3, 1. Instead of going, just hitting 1, 1, I'm using a replacement finger to then be in a same position. Left-hand slurs, or as guitar players call them, hammer-on and pull-offs, are another good technique used to emphasize or color up the musical line you are creating. So a hammer-on is kind of like how it sounds. You're going to take, say, your first finger, and we'll use 1 and 3 for this demonstration. You're going to pluck the string, and then you're going to hammer on 3 to the next fret. So if I do that in time, I like to think of my finger that's hammering on the string like a piano hammer hitting the string as they press the piano key. And when you practice this, you want to make sure that you do it for every single finger, including the weird fingers like 3 and 4, 2 and 3, and 2 and 4. The other set of slurs, the reverse slurs or pull-offs, is exactly how it sounds. You're going to start on the reverse side. So let's take the one we just did and start on 3. And then you're going to pull it downward like so. And I'll start on string 3 for this so it's a better visual. I'm sliding into the next, I'm pulling it off into the next string. So it sounds like I'm plucking it, but I'm just sliding it off to create my own articulation with my left hand. And like the hammer-ons, you still want to do this with every finger, including the other weird ones. In a musical context, for example, for the hammer-on, you could make it where instead of it would be, and then other way, instead of, you pull it off to make it more legato and musical sound. There are a few special techniques used for making a left-hand fingering strategy, and some of them include hinge bars, slant bars, or in some rare cases, moving the left-hand thumb over to the top of the neck. So a hinge bar is going to basically, instead of barring the full length of the neck, you're going to take a bar and you're going to hinge it by just, if I can turn, you might be able to see, I'm not playing the full bar, I'm only playing slightly of it. So if I were to take, I'm learning Rossiniana number 5 right now, and so there's a section where I have to use a hinge bar for this section where I go. I have to use an open D, but I keep the same bar down. My finger is up, but I'm still using the fleshy side of my finger as a bar for the strings. So that is a hinge bar. A slant bar is slightly different. You're going to bar your string, but you're going to slant it a bit to where you can get one fret and then another fret at the same time. So I also use this in the same section of Rossiniana number 5, where I have to go. So I'm playing this chord, and then I have to keep the bass down, pulsing, while hitting this A on the high string. That's an example of a slant bar. And then a very rare case of using the left-hand thumb over on the strings. I haven't seen a lot of players use this. One player that I know uses this a lot is Marco Topci. So if you want to see examples of this, I would go check him out on his videos. I've seen him use this in Leccate Draws Movement 2 in the high chord section where he goes, and he takes his thumb and moves it over the chord. So if you can see, my thumb is fretting instead of barring it. He frets it with his thumb. All of these can be used correctly and musically. There is no right or wrong way. These are just tools in your toolbox of making art. Think of these strategies and techniques like your colors for a painting. The canvas is the music on the page, and your job as a musician is to make that art with the techniques you use. In this video, we talked about the different left-hand strategies and tools we have as guitarists to create music and art with the pieces we have on paper. The goal of writing your fingerings out for a piece of paper is to write out what kind of musical interpretation you want to say with the ink on the page in front of you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video about fingerings and figuring out how to make your musical interpretation sing with toolboxes and tools that you have in the toolbox. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I have multiple different videos about guitar stuff, like right hand positioning, left hand positioning, right hand nails, sitting position, and holding devices. And I'll have more videos on the way soon. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much. Goodbye.